He kind of took the David Dobrik approach, which kind of a lot of exciting moments really quick, and short like 4-minute vlogs.
What do you think about that format though? Everything being so in your face and snappy.
I feel like if you want to capture attention from younger people especially, that's why like TikTok blew up, you know? Like all those quick videos, you just get constant dopamine hits. You don't really have time to get bored. You know how Casey Neistat does those videos, just kind of like more slow paced, more talking. Probably would work with an older audience still, but kids don't really have time to just sit there and something will come up and grab their attention on the sidebar, or I don't know, their mum might call them. Like, they kind of just need to be re-hooked every, like, couple of seconds.
I don't know. Like, I get what you mean, and that's definitely a fact. Like, kids just don't have attention spans at the moment. But I feel like that can be very destructive in a way. Because, like, you know, before technology and everything, you'd have to go out and socialize. You'd have to kind of sit there, read a book, do something, you know. But now you can just go on your phone and be entertained for, you know, hours and days and weeks. Like, people do it for quarantine. That's what I'm doing with video games and stuff like that. But when you don't have that ability to kind of just sit in your own thoughts and you always have to have something to do, it can be very destructive. But I guess our society will kind of move forward eventually into the point where we will be able to constantly get that sort of dopamine hits, you know, like people just can't sit down. Kids, you know, I'm guilty of this, can't sit down and properly read a book. Can't just, you know, be left to their own devices, like without actually having devices, you know. Something I hate right now nowadays is the social media addiction and stuff. Like you know, the other day before the quarantine hit in, or that little gap in Victoria that we had, I was out with my mates playing mini golf, and we're all just chilling. Like, we don't use our phones and stuff, and we're all just, you know, having fun to each other. And there's these like group of like 4 girls, look like they're about like 13, 14. They would just hit the ball, do it. They weren't really talking, and then they were just on their phones because they would need to have something to keep them entertained. To stimulate them, exactly, because they couldn't go that like 1-2 minutes of just having to stand there and watch their friends play golf.
100%.
Oh, it's so ridiculous. I'm just on the train, you know, listening to music, and everyone's got their phone, head down, phone down, you know, and you know, walking around the city, people just, you know, walking around like zombies and stuff like that. And such a boomer thing to say, but when you truly sit down or just look around you and you see so many people glued to their phones that constant need of addiction because they can't just walk in a straight line without being fidgety. It's kind of like scary to see where this will be taken in, like, you know, 50 years, 10 years, you know, like 1,000 years from now if we're still around by then. But yeah,
definitely, especially from like business standpoint. Like yesterday I sat down for like, I don't know, an hour and a half to kind of plan out the podcast and stuff. It was kind of difficult to just stay focused all that time. Like, you want to pick up your phone. I like put my phone upside down so I like avoid picking it up and looking at it, because if it was just faced up, I'd always be like checking for a notification or checking Twitter. And I just feel like how are people going to be able to like focus on building things they care about if there's always those distractions?
I guess you got to be hit in the face by reality as you grow up to understand that you need to put your head down and do shit. Not head down, but like as a teenager, as a kid, you're kind of, that's all you know. But then it can also be like, you know, you can get hit in the face by reality, but like if you don't know how to react to it, that could cause some problems. Like financial ones as well. But I get what you mean, and I feel like especially with quarantine, that is drastically increased my like addiction to it, because I was being fine with it before. Like I finished high school, and for the like 5 months where I, you know, had nothing to do, just to kind of do my own thing before the virus, I was fine with it. But now, like, you know, all I want is stimulus, because that's all I can get at the moment. And I guess it's kind of situational, so I hope to bounce back from it. But yeah, I'm like playing a video game, and in between rounds, you know, I get my phone and check on Twitter for like split second, or, you know, just go on your phone to do something, and I catch myself doing that. So I literally like throw my phone to the other side of my room, so that like it's an inconvenience for me to get up and go to it. So I just sit there and, like, you know, that's very situational generation thing that we're dealing with. But yeah, like,
I have a confession to make, and I'm not super proud of this. I've been watching a lot of like Netflix, and especially Criminal Minds. So I'll be in the middle of an episode, and there might be a slow bit, and I'll pull out my phone and go on TikTok while watching the episode.
Yeah.
And that is just so bad. And I know it's bad, but I still do it anyway. And it speaks a lot.
It does. And I see a lot of people doing this. I saw like a tweet with like 500k retweets and like 2 million likes. And it's like just someone saying, could there be a Netflix like genre where it's just like, you know, you sit back while on your phone while watching something? People are like, oh my God, yeah, I would love that. But I'm like, isn't that just sad?
Yeah,
people make this
content.
There's so much effort that goes into making these TV shows and films for people to kind of not be stimulated enough by it because there's not constant action all the time.
Yeah.
I have a healthy relationship with my parents, and it's every like once or twice a week where we go sit down and watch a movie. But my dad's been very kind of like, if we're eating dinner at the dinner at the table, no one has their phone out. If we're watching a movie, no one has their phone out. To kind of just be in the moment. Sometimes sometimes too, man. Like I'll be watching Netflix and I'll be like, there's a slow part, so I go and check my phone. I think it's all about kind of just training yourself.
Yeah,
you got to train your mind to get used to not having distractions. I try to read a book every night so that I don't constantly have the need to go on my phone right at night. But you know, it is hard, but you kind of just got to train yourself to not have that. But when we live in a world where it's constant attention, everything, the stimulus that we're getting is so high right now and entertaining, you know. You've got action movies, you've got video games, you've got TikTok, social media. The stimulation that we get is very, you know, pleasing. It's very entertaining even for a split second. That if it's not to that level of engagement in your life constantly, then it's kind of like, shit, what am I doing now? Like